Welcome to the Good Negroes.
Welcome to the Good Negroes.
And Jynxx and I have not joined the army. Okay, different countries' armies, obviously, because
Yeah.
different camouflage.
Yeah.
But she copied what I was wearing.
Clearly, I am the trendsetter here of us. Okay.
True. So okay, that's what happened.
I mean, you ain't got no pushback, no spinal cord.
All right, I'm keeping it going.
Keeping
That's
it
all.
gangster.
For the show,
Stay black and
for entertainment value.
Stay black and keep it gangster.
But yeah, we're talking about psychedelics behind the scene,
We are. We are.
and now we're on camera doing
We're
it.
talking about psychedelics. Okay, because there's a whole new wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Netflix even commercialized it in a sense where they talked about ayahuasca. There have been several studies. I know psychedelics, for one, was banned, I guess, in the what was it, the 60s or the 70s?
Probably
When was the
60s,
when
no,
was
probably
the
the
hippie
70s.
hippie movement?
Yeah.
Right around that time. Just happened with the lights.
So someone's on a psychedelic now. That's what that.
I
Let's go.
wish.
Okay.
Okay. No, and so now, they've made several discoveries when it came to psychedelics, like how the brain works, and they've had insights into like depression and things like that. And then they just all of a sudden they were like, it's the hippies' drug, and so we're gonna ban it. And then there was nothing done for a really long time. I ain't crazy, yo. Okay. Did that shit on purpose. So yeah, trippy.
Yeah.
And so now I guess there's a new, renewed curiosity in the space of psychedelics, which are shrooms, DMT, ayahuasca, all those things, right?
Right. In the streets or more like in the lab?
In corporate America, in corporate spaces. Yeah.
I mean, so I've only done one psychedelic, and it was mushrooms, and I've never done enough mushrooms to be like, woo. But I was always scared of psychedelics.
Wait, to go, whoo!
Like I know somebody did mushrooms and said they saw the remote splash into the floor when they dropped it on the floor. Because my understanding is there can be mushrooms as strong as acid. It's just I've never had them, or I've never had enough. And I've had mushrooms twice, actually 3 times.
I feel like we need outside contributors to have this conversation. I've only done shrooms on 2 occasions.
Mm-hmm.
On 2 occasions, that's night
But
and
you've
day.
done some.
Night and day.
Have you done stronger?
Ayahuasca is the strength of this. Like ayahuasca is. So here's the thing for me, right?
And
Some people will
what
do.
is ayahuasca? Because I don't even know what it's like.
I'll talk about that in a second. Some people will do psychedelics. So for me, it's about the intention, right? With ayahuasca, the way that ayahuasca has conditioned me, it's all about the intention, about the settings and the surroundings. So you go in with a specific intention. It's usually to learn something about yourself, to correct something without making yourself wrong about it in an interesting, weird way. There's a lot of life-changing things that can come out of an ayahuasca experience. If you have the right intentions. Now, if you're just doing it to get high, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice. And I don't think that that's what ancestrally, that's what it was intended for.
See, I don't know. I think people have always liked to escape. I'm sure if you were hunting wildebeest on the plain and that's all you did all day, when you came home, you were like, man, tired of this shit.
Look, I've had an experience that was, so here's the thing. When it comes to ayahuasca, a lot of people will have it's like a hospital of sorts. There's a lot of people that are looking to heal something, be it an addiction or like a trauma, right? Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people, it's like a hospital. So a lot of people will go in with that mindset. I've never had that experience. For me, it's always been like I don't want to say a party. I don't want to make it sound like it was, but it was a connection with my ancestors on the one hand. It was like getting in touch with a deep core part of me that I'd never experienced, and it was a good time. So I'm not saying that it has to be like a whole traumatic experience, right? I'm not saying that. But again, the intention that you set, right? Are you trying to get rid of your traumas? There are people that have been in therapy for 20, 30 years that then did ayahuasca once or twice, and they've gotten all the clarity around it that they needed, because it kind of goes into it, like behind the scenes. It's one of those things where it's like you don't know what you don't know. You can't go into a space that you don't know. But with the psychedelics, it opens up parts of the mind and consciousness in a way that you can't tap into.
I mean, I get it, because I'm part of the belief that we're governed by a lot of our subconscious algorithms, and our conscious mind just gives you justification for some shit you would have did anyway, right? Like it was gonna happen as soon as that occurred, but your conscious mind wrapped facts and thoughts and justifications around it.
Created a story.
So yeah, it created the story that made it okay for you to be able to live with yourself to do it at that point in time. So I'm always just wondering, when you do psychedelics, did you really tap into something that's an algorithm? Did you tap into another way to think? Or was it just some old random ass thoughts that were occurring when you were high? Like, I don't know. But I kind of like your point about you don't know what you don't know till you do it.
I mean, there are people that again, I'm not the spokesperson for it by any stretch of the imagination. And there's people that have done it way more often than I have, and probably way more intensely, and have more facts lined up than I do. Right. So I'm by no stretch of the imagination. Like I've experienced it on several occasions, and I've shared beautiful experiences with other people who were on the same journey as I was. Yeah. Right at that time. But that's all I got. So I speak from my experience and my experience alone. I don't. To my understanding, going into an ayahuasca, wondering if there's some kind of trauma within that I need to deal with, I came up with nothing, right?
What do you mean by that?
Nothing came to me in my ayahuasca experience that led me to a traumatic experience, something that I needed to confront or whatever, right? And so there are people that go into it and they have a demon, something that they're dealing with, a traumatic experience, and they have a different experience. Like I know someone that I know had literally had the purging. Like purging is a big part of it. And they were just throwing up and throwing up and throwing up during this ayahuasca experience and purging a lot of their energy. And they had a lot of realizations about what was going on in their life, right? And had a complete clarity after the fact. And were able to deal with the situation in a different way than they did when they walked in.
But I mean, I do think there's other things that also give you that clarity, like therapy sessions or things. And let me come back.
I can't fully speak to that because I haven't done either. I have never done the therapy part to get over any kind of a trauma, and I have also never done ayahuasca to get over a trauma. What I will say though is from other people's stories that I've heard, yeah, it gets into the crevices that therapy can't get into.
No, I mean, I get it. I know, I mean, I was listening to NPR, and they were talking about how they're using, I think it's cyclocobines, how you say, whatever's in mushrooms. They were talking about mushroom microdosing for people who suffer depression. And they're like, our trials are starting to work.
I think Red Table Talk had a conversation about that, and they had a guy on. Who was he? The CEO of some major company, and I cannot remember what it was. He's microdoses on a daily basis.
And here's the thing
to combat PTSD, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ritalin and a lot of the ADD drugs. If you look at their names, like Ritalin's real name will be like Rito such and such, and at the end of it is amphetamine. And be like, all those drugs are amphetamine, so chemically they're very close to cocaine. But what they do is they just dose it so that when you take one Ritalin pill,
microdosing cocaine.
I mean, there's people that do.
I mean, there are people that do. Yeah. Microdosing is a whole thing. I'm actually really, really curious about it.
Let me just, once they turn things to drugs, they make them so that they work the same every time, right? Because if you were at home microdosing, there's different types of mushrooms. So if you were microdosing them, you could get one that's super strong, get one that's weak, one that taps a different, neurotransmitter or something. So, as we go down this exploration into psychedelics for medical use, that's what's about to occur, because they're never going to approve ayahuasca.
And it's interesting to me because I feel like the government here specifically, they approve all the shit that's not good for you, like the stuff that is banned in other countries is somehow legal here. But then the stuff that could actually have some kind of a healing benefit is completely banned in Elite, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, but
I
it's
really
kind of
don't
like
understand that.
marijuana for some stuff. For some stuff, there appears to be benefits, but other people be like, "Nigga, my finger was itching. Nigga, smoke some weed. You know, it'll get rid of finger itch." I'm telling you, dog. You want to get
Wear
rid
gloves.
of coronavirus?
Wear gloves.
Yeah, your coronavirus. Smoke some weed like that. Trust me.
But
not
that's
a
people
cure.
do. People self-medicate even when it comes to like doctors, right?
Yeah.
People so like you can't change what somebody is going to do. They're just gonna do right. If that's what
Right.
if that's who
Yeah.
you're gonna be is self-medicating, then you're gonna do that with marijuana or with LSD or with.
Or fucking alcohol, the most available drug to us.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you said you've had shrooms before, but they weren't.
Yeah, so the first time I had shrooms, I was in Amsterdam, and you know how they have legal stuff there? So I bought the ones in the middle. Like, they were like light hallucination, auditory changes. The ones
They had
at
them
the
all
end,
labeled
yeah,
nice
the
and
ones that,
proper.
the advanced ones were like seeing demons burst from the fire. I'm like, I don't want the fire bursting demon mushrooms.
I
And
can't
so,
do that in my living room
yeah, I
today.
took
I'll
these,
try.
and I was cool. But the person I was with was like, do you see the light coming out of that candle? And I'm like, what? And then another time I did them with somebody here
Wait,
in
the
this
light
room.
coming out of the candle was fascinating.
A truck drove up there like, it had a rap. It was the movie Chicken Run was out at the time, so it was a long time ago. And they saw the big chicken. They were like, oh my God, that chicken's staring at me. And I'm like, you know what? I was mad that I wasn't feeling that.
Yeah.
That's why I was actually angry.
So the first time I had shrooms, it was extremely auditory for me. Everything was hella auditory. And I mean, maybe that's how I'm programmed, right? Because music is such a thing for me. And like, maybe I am just extra auditory. And so I heard everything. It was like the wind and the leaves in the wind was like, and people were, and so when people came and started talking to me, it was a whole problem, right? It was a whole problem because it was overload. But I could hear like the roller skates and the footsteps and like everything was hella auditory. And I don't even know that there was anything really major visual for me. But once it got really, really quiet, I had a very similar calm and peace in a way that ayahuasca was for me. Like I almost felt like whatever that strain was, and I don't even know, and I haven't been able to recreate that moment, but whatever that was, it was a very peaceful zen that brought me very much close to the Aya experience. So I was like, oh, so I don't have to go through all the whole Aya and, you know, because it's a whole ordeal, like
right.
travel and do all those things because you have to go through this whole ordeal. And so I could just like do a shroom and have
Get 'em right off
do
the
it in the living room.
Get them right off the street. Okay, maybe not. But
No.
yeah. No.
No.
I mean, it's all manipulation of our neurotransmitters, though. So it's chemicals and stuff in our brain that we already
But
have.
so here's the thing: the
and
brain
it's
is
how-
wired in a certain kind of way anyway, right? Like I'm not a brain chemist or brain scientist, but I mean the brain it essentially it creates a roadmap for itself, and then it just follows certain paths. So other paths on that road die off at that point, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
And so, are we really reprogramming it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we've already programmed ourselves in a certain kind of way that may not even be beneficial to us.
Well, and now coming back to it, just kind of listen to that, Jynxx. I mean, if humans are using 16% of their brains all the time,
We should be ashamed of ourselves.
well, it
We're
speaks
such
to our
slackers.
potential.
Does it though? Yeah, I stopped dating off of potential a long time
No, but I mean,
ago.
it speaks to human potential of what's possible.
Every woman is gonna feel me on that,
Yeah.
especially if you're over the age of 30. Every
Yeah.
woman's gonna know exactly.
nothing
what
wrong
we-
with that.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to date dudes with potential that do ayahuasca, and it would open up their minds. There you go.
You've solved my life issues.
Well, glad. You owe me $3,000.
God damn, you are definitely in the American medical system.
Exactly.
My
Well,
God.
no, American medical system, you owe me $9,000.
Oh, okay. What did you just quote me?
I
The Ghanaian
No, I just
medical
gave you the
system?
answer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, what you-
I was giving you the homie price because we're both in the army, but the army of
Yeah.
fun. And
you are in the army of one. Yeah.
I'm an army
You
of one.
are. Okay.
Yeah.
I want
So-
you to be all that you can be, Dre.
I appreciate it. I'm going to do that with ayahuasca
In the army.
and mushroom microdosing.
I am so fascinated with I don't know much about microdosing. I cannot say that I've ever done
so
that.
wait,
I'm
so the
super
time I
fascinated.
actually really enjoyed mushrooms, just had a little bit, and it just made the party more fun. But then the third time we did in somebody whose name is from the Bible. Let's just call them
There you go
Mr.
again.
Jericho.
There you go again.
And they wanted to play this game, and it got too mental and too many questions and stuff, and it just fucked me up. And next thing you know, I had to leave, and I found myself at home, like wrapped under a blanket, mad and shit at the TV. And I was like, God damn it, I can't. And I've had problems sleeping, and then finally I had to love myself and go to sleep.
Had to love yourself. Wait, is that just what I did? What just happened? Okay, what I thought just happened had happened. Okay,
That was the only thing I could do to bring myself some sense of normalcy.
your love box.
Yeah.
I cannot.
So, yeah.
I cannot. All right.
Hey, so listen, folks. Don't be out here trying shit if you got medical conditions.
Yeah, is that the disclaimer?
Yeah,
And
that's the
look,
disclaimer.
and no, we're not in any way, shape, or form advocating anything by sharing our experiences.
Yeah. But I'm a fan of exploring.
Yeah, crack and cocaine, we know.
Well, okay. Listen, I said it. I meant it. But I'm a fan of pushing research and trying stuff we haven't tried. Why not? I'm okay with.
We had an episode on that, and you just didn't feel the same way when it came to science. But okay.
No, Jynxx, I'm always a proponent of science.
Okay. Run it back.
I am. I'm not cool with science like making things that go in your body and change cells, right?
Are psychedelics different? I mean,
Very
I guess they
different.
don't change cells,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They leave. I'm talking about a damn nanobot. I'm not cool with a nanobot in me that could replicate on its own. No, that's not. I'm not.
Dre, is that a second head you're growing on your shoulders?
Exactly.
On your shoulders. Let me just be very clear. All right.
Wouldn't mind. Okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
that would be weird. It would be a no for me, dog.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm
no
cool.
for me.
Yeah, no, I don't have two toilets. So there we go. Good Negroes.
Good Negroes.
There it is,
Till
man.
I die.
Ugh. Join our army.
Oh, God. We're awful.
Perfect timing.